Zelensky is meeting with Putin, and for the first time they're having a face-to-face meeting, and there might finally be peace in Ukraine. Today, the Ukrainian President Zelensky announced that he's having a face-to-face meeting with the Russian President Putin in Turkey to try and end the war. In fact, Zelensky said these meetings are going to be taking place on Thursday, which is really close. He said, quote, "There is no point in just prolonging the killings. Therefore, I will be personally waiting for Putin in Turkey on Thursday." And actually, the reason that Zelensky is saying this is because Putin offered to meet Zelensky in person just last week, and Zelensky has accepted his offer. Now, it's worth knowing that Turkey has actually been trying to arrange this meeting for really quite a long time, but the Ukrainian President Zelensky has just been opposed to it every time they've tried it. Although I will say that it's unknown at the moment why Zelensky has changed his opinion so quickly. Although it is possible it's because the US has said they will end their support for Ukraine if there's no obvious peace deal in the works. The US did speak on this though. The US President Trump said, quote, "At least both Ukraine and Russia will finally be able to determine whether or not a deal is possible." And he also said, quote, "If they find that a deal is not possible, then Europe and the US will know where everything stands, and then we can proceed accordingly." And that really is the important bit about this. For the last few months, Ukraine and Russia have been talking to the US, but as you know, they've never spoken directly to each other. And obviously, now that the leaders of both Ukraine and Russia are finally going to have a face-to-face meeting, it's going to become obvious whether or not a peace deal is actually possible. And this really is a big deal. For the first time, the Ukrainian President Zelensky is meeting with the Russian President Putin face-to-face, for the first time since the war started 3 years ago. Of course, I'll keep you updated, but as usual, you can leave me a follow for some more global news like this.